Hello, my name is Bash Harry and welcome to my channel. Yes, I don't have eyebrows on. Oh my gosh, you can see all the bad hairs I've got. I've basically got no hair, which is why every time I do makeup here, I do my brows off screen. But today, I'm going to show you a brow tutorial. I don't pluck my brows, as you can tell, it's quite hairy, but also not. The weirdest part about my eyebrows is that it starts quite thick here and then just fades away into nothing. So I'm going to teach you how I get really nice bold brows. I want to say natural, but I know it's not. So without further ado, let's get started. So I know I've done a brow tutorial a couple of years ago, but since then my eyebrow game has changed drastically. I use different products, I use different techniques, so I thought this would be a really great updated brow routine. The first thing I like to do is take concealer. This is not really a concealer, it's supposed to be a highlight, but as you can see, it is about the same color, if not darker, than my skin tone, which is why I think it's perfect to use for concealing my brows. I like using a nail art brush when carving out my brows. So what I like to do is take the concealer and put a little bit on the nail art brush. I use a magnifying mirror to carve out my brows, but I also have a mirror right in front of me just so I can see what I'm doing and it doesn't look so crazy. So what I like to start is in the middle and start carving out the brows. I try to follow the general shape of my brows. I use the concealer to cover up the remaining hair and to make it look less obvious. So what I'm doing now is kind of just blending it further down my eye, and then with my finger I'm just blending it out. I always recommend following the general shape of your brows. It took me a long time to figure out where the general shape of my brows are, considering I have no shape to them. But general rule, straight line or an angled line until the middle of your pupil, and then just do a quick arch. So my arch is right there. Next up, I like to use a brow gel just to define the hairs first. This is the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade number 5, I think. Yes, it's shade number 5. I really love Benefit brow products. I don't like their foundations. I don't really like their bronzers or their blushes, but the brows is where it's at, and their mascaras. So I take the spoolie and I slowly brush it upwards, trying not to touch the concealer. Just brush them outwards and into place. As you can see, it gave me a little bit of definition. Not too crazy, but my eyebrows are slowly coming together. To fill in the brows, I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I think every beauty blogger uses it, so do I. I think this is my third or fourth pomade. I'm taking that with my Benefit angled brush and spoolie. I recommend getting a stiff angled brush for your eyebrows. They'll always create the really best kind of fake hair, and it's thick enough that when you apply it to your brows, it won't look so soft. I'm taking just a dip, not too much, and I'm wiping off the excess in a tissue. So we have barely a smidge, because this stuff is so pigmented. I'm starting at the arch, so that's where the most of the pigment will start. And I'm just following along the curve I created. So once you draw that line underneath your brow, we're going to continue filling it in on the inner corners and then slowly brushing it out. And then you take the spoolie and brush it out. Personal preference, I do like my tail to be more darker than the inner corner. So I dip back into the pomade and I just make sure it's a bit more pigmented and I blend everything out. So you can already tell that there is a strong difference between this brow and this brow. Wow, what a contrast. Oh, it's so weird to have just one brow filled in. We're gonna continue carving out our brows. I'm taking the concealer again, and I'm just carving out above the brow. And just creating a fake line, both to cover up the hair up there and also to kind of further define the brows without going too overboard. Pro tip, I do like to start my brows where the nostril ends. So right about here is where I like to draw the line, the fake line, and kind of start fading in from there. So as you can see, there is a strong difference between this brow and this brow. This one is messy, hairy, and way less defined than this one. Obviously, this is my preference on how I do my brows. It's different from what I did 2 years ago. Hell, it's different from what I did 5 years ago. I'm gonna quickly do this brow and everything else off screen, so I'll catch you in a bit. So this is the completed look. As you can see, my other eyebrow has been filled in, and it's way more softer than I used to do them. I will admit, I did have some pretty harsh brows, and who's to say these brows aren't harsh? Anyway, if you do like this video and you want to see more, do like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Bash Harry, and I'll see you soon. Bye!